How do you give a blood transfusion in a muddy foxhole, with no electricity and German artillery shaking the ground so hard dirt rains from the bunker roof? In 1945 Germany, Corpsman Bob Carter faced this life-or-death scenario when Private Joe Garcia, who'd shared his last stick of gum that morning, joking about the terrible coffee they'd drink when they got back to base, was shot in the abdomen during a surprise enemy patrol. The wound was gushing, and Joe's skin had already gone pale, his breathing shallow and ragged. Bob knew he had less than 20 minutes to act, or the kid from Texas would never see his family again. Bob's emergency kit was a beat-up glass bottle scavenged from a destroyed farmhouse, a frayed rubber tube, and a single rusted needle, hardly the tools for a medical miracle, but it was all he had. With no blood type tester to confirm compatibility, he didn't hesitate to use his own O-negative, the universal donor, tying a tourniquet around his left arm so tight his veins bulged, throbbing against his cold skin. He knelt in mud that soaked through his fatigues to his knees, the muck caking his boots as he held the bottle overhead, letting gravity feed his blood into Joe's arm. A nurse from his unit, Private Maria Lopez, knelt beside him, whispering reassurances to Joe, talking about his favorite baseball team, his mom's tamales, to keep him conscious while Bob monitored the slow drip of blood. A nearby explosion sent a shower of dirt and gravel into the bunker, spilling a splash of blood onto Bob's sleeve, but he didn't flinch. His eyes were fixed on Joe's face, watching for the first sign of color returning. For 45 minutes, they stayed like that, Bob's arm growing numb, Maria's voice hoarse, Joe's breaths gradually steadying until the bottle was empty and Joe's lips finally regained a faint pink hue. When Joe's eyes fluttered open an hour later, weak but lucid, he whispered, "You owe me a beer, Carter." Bob laughed through the grit in his throat, relief so sharp it made his eyes burn. Joe survived that day, and the two men stayed in touch for 50 years, meeting every Veterans Day at a diner near their hometowns to swap war stories and tease each other about that muddy foxhole. Bob's blood was warmer than the mud, and tougher too, Joe joked at Bob's 70th birthday party, clapping his old friend on the back. Medics in World War II didn't have fancy gear or sterile operating rooms, just grit, quick thinking, and a refusal to let their brothers in arms die alone. He'd like to honor these unsung lifesavers who turned scrap into hope.